Hi everyone. I was thinking about this for a long time, to teach a new language online, obviously, and to prepare people for the new language, like how they can learn Python or how they can learn Java or how they can learn C Sharp, right? I see there is a big market, like where everybody is want to learn one language at a time, and I see so many institutes that teaching one language and to one person without teaching them the basic fundamental that's required. I have been searching all over, I have been searching everywhere, like how I can make it right, how I can teach in a better way, so that not everybody need every language to learn, but eventually they know how to do that, right? So I am starting this one the way I learned programming language by myself. I never joined any coaching classes or anything. I never been on any classes for learning a specific language, but I still somehow able to do whatever program you're gonna throw me on my face. I'm gonna able to write it, just the help of Google. So what I learned throughout my journey is you always have a Google along with you to ask anything. So for this playlist and for this programming series, I'm gonna consider Python as a basic language that I'm gonna use for this entire playlist. But to be honest, I am also not profound in the Python. But I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna do everything that any Python developer can do, right? In this video, along with you, and I'm gonna teach you how we do together and how we can improve it together. And I'm gonna teach all the basic fundamental, how we can improve ourselves, how it should be done instead of learning one by one. I'm gonna teach you how it's correctly need to be done, how the right way to learn anything, especially in the programming language. And I like what my idea basically is doing everything just by starting doing it and googling it whatever we can, right? So for example, as I said, I'm gonna consider this for the Python language. We're gonna start everything from basics, right? And I'm gonna start to cover everything. I'm gonna cover algorithm, data structure. That would be my main basic criteria, right? I want you to think with me throughout the playlist so that you would be also able to think the way you should. And even though that would be also a good idea that you can even think better than anybody else, right? That's how you write logics, right? The programming is not about learning a language. It's about the logic that you can write down and how you can make it better than for the rest of the team or rest of the people, so that your program can run efficiently and properly without uh, without leaving so many bugs on it, right? So it's all about the basic knowledge that you should have, and it's all about the thinking, the way you think. So I'm gonna help you think. We're gonna think together for making a program, right? Or making anything basically, right? And I'm gonna teach you how we can do one by one step at a time to learn any program language that you want, right? So as I said, I'm gonna start with Python. Here's my monitor where we're gonna write and draw everything, and we're gonna start from the scratch, right? So one basic thing, for example, if you're gonna start from calculator, that's a basic example that you can think of. It's the basic mathematics like plus, minus, multiplication, and division, right? These four operations that we all know how to do that. And if you start gonna search on Google how to make a calculator, there will be the various kind of programs that gonna be written on Google and Stack Overflow that you're gonna find out how it is and how it should be. But I want you to think how you want a calculator to be. If you use a real calculator, how it basically works. I want you to think like that, right? So for example, in the calculator, what you see when you turn it on. So when you turn on a calculator, it just asks you for the one. For example, if you're trying to do an addition, then you have to enter one value, and then you have to enter the operation that you want to do, and then you have to enter the second value, and you have to press equal, and it's gonna give you the result, right? That's how it does. Now I want you to think how you're gonna write down in the program the same way, right? So obviously you want the first input, right? So you want, I'm gonna make a pen like this. So you want the first input, right? You want the second input from a user, right? And you also need an operation that they want to define, right? You want them to define the operation, right? It could be either plus, minus, multiplication, or division. It could be either of them, right? So now the order doesn't matter, right? The way you want, you can do. But obviously, either you want the user to enter the operator first, or you want the user to enter the multiplication numbers first, and then you want to ask them. It's up to you, right? But our basic idea is to like ask these three things from the user in order to give them a better result, right? So whatever they're gonna pick from them, you have to give them a better result. Now, I don't know how to take an input from the user in Python. I don't know how to consider an operation in the Python, right? How it works basically. I have no idea. So what we can do is like search one by one everything in Python, and we're gonna see how to do that, right? And how we can do it correctly by thinking together. So I'm gonna erase everything in from here, and that crashed. So that's good, but at least now we have what we need, right? So at least we know what we want. So first we want to take an input from the user. So I'm gonna check in Google how to take an input in Python. How to take input in Python. And it says, okay, that's not bad. So I'm just gonna say, no, my bad. I'm just using the online editor for now. We can, in our upcoming videos, we can use, and I will try to tell you how you can use the different editor, how you can configure them. But that's how we're gonna do for at least for now. So it says we can use the value, and we can just print that value, right? So let's take that. I'm gonna say 10, and it's gonna print 10. So that's gonna work, right? So we can say enter first value, right? And I can say it's val1, right? And I can say enter second value, because like that's what we want, right? That's what we want, a user to enter two values so that we can perform an operation that they want in that calculator, right? So we have two values now. We can enter those values. It's gonna work as we already tested, right? So now we have to think about the logic what we want to write down to make it happen as a calculator, right? So on the calculator, if user selected plus, right? If user select plus, then the two values that he enter, it should be get addition, it should get added with each other, and like the value, for example, if the first value would be 10 and the second value would be 10, then the result of the addition would be 20, right? Just a basic concept I'm talking about. I'm not teaching math or anything. I just want you to think about how the logic work and how logic should work in a programming method, right? So how you wanna write down that things. So for example, if user said plus, but like okay, you're gonna take plus from the user, or you can take you can assign each operator as a number, and you can ask a user to enter a particular operator that they want to use, right? So if user enter plus, then it should be plus, right? If user enter minus, then it should be minus. If he enter multiplication, then it should be multiplication and so on, right? So the one term that I'm thinking of or I'm keep thinking of is like if and else, right? So if it is plus, then it should be plus. If it's minus, then it should be minus. If it's a multiplication, it should be multiplication. So I'm just thinking about if and else. So I have no idea how to do if and else. So that's what we're gonna look for next, right? So I'm gonna say if else in Python. Now one line, I really don't care. If else in Python. So W3 school says it's if, and if says if A, then B is zero. That's what we are looking for right now, right? So we are looking for if A and B. Okay. So let's see. If I'm gonna say A, so for us A B equal to B, let's say well 1, right? And it could be well 1, and it could be well 2, and I'm gonna say this one as well 1, right? And okay, that's hectic. Okay, right? We can test it out, right? So I'm gonna say enter first value, and I'm gonna say first value is 10, and I'm gonna say 20, and it says well 1 is greater than well 2, which make no sense, at least not for me. So our well 1 is 10, right? That's the one that we give, and the well 2 is 20. But here we said if well 2 is greater than well 1, then we said, so we just printed it wrong. It's like if we are checking if well 2 is greater than well 1, then we are saying well 1 is greater than well 2. So it just well 2 is greater than well 1. So we can try it again. I'm gonna say 10, then it says well 2 is greater than well 1. So like the main idea behind it is like our if and else condition is working. So for example, one more time, if I'm gonna say 10 and 10, sorry, my bad. So if I'm gonna say 10 and 10, then it's gonna say well 1 and well 2 are equal. So what we learn here is like our if else is working fine. Now we wanna ask user as well which kind of operation they wanna perform, right? For the sake, I'm gonna say A, B, and I'm gonna do it as O. O for operation, right? I'm gonna say enter operator um, plus minus multiply and divide, right? Or I can say choose one of the operator from. Okay, that sounds okay. Okay, that's gonna be, so our O would be, let's say, uh, one of the operator, right, that we're gonna get from the user, and that's exactly we're gonna do. So the first thing first is like if I'm gonna say if O equals plus, right? If O equals plus, then what happened? Then it should be A plus B, and it says, let's say print. Now I'm gonna say directly print. Okay, I'm gonna say print A plus B. Okay, now if O equals minus, then I'm gonna say A minus B, it's multiply, then it's multiply, and if it's divide, then it's divide, right? Let's see how, if even if it's work or not, right? I don't know. It's already said if equal invalid syntax. Maybe you mean, okay, so it's already saying it's not single equal, but it should be double equal. So that's the one thing that we learned. As like in if and else, it should be, we have to use two equals instead of one equal, right? So that's a good thing. Okay, now let's see. Enter first value 10, 20. Choose operator, let's say plus. It just added 10 and 20. At least for me, it made no sense because that's not we wanted to get, right? So what happened here is like if you are familiar with the string concept, what is happening here is like this Python. In Python, it looks like the plus is using as a concatenation. So concatenation means it's adding two string side by side and then just printing it simply without performing the multiplication or addition the way we want it, right? So the one thing that I see is like the input that given by the user is treated as a string, right? So the next thing we wanna look for is like convert, because like the thing that we get as a string by default. So I'm gonna look for convert a string to integer in Python, right? So uh, it says use int built-in function. That's not we wanted to look at that. Uh, Maybe this one. Okay, maybe it could work. I don't know. Let's try it out. I really don't know. The number is our input, right? And again, the number is our input. Okay, let's see. Okay, there is no error. Choose operator plus. Okay, it worked. So what we learned here is like the direct conversion from the string to integer. It just happened directly with a predefined function int as a function of a Python, and that we can use to perform this operation, right? Now, there are a couple of things that we learned throughout this program, throughout this video. I'm not gonna stretch it too much, but one thing that we learn is like whenever we get a value from the user, it's always in a string. So that's something that we learn. The second thing we learn how we read an input from the user. The third thing is that we learn is like how we can convert a string into the integer in Python, right? And also we learn how if and else work, how we can print them. So there are a couple of things that we learned today by like thinking together and writing the program by googling everything. Right, I didn't even write anything by myself. I basically googled it and I tried to type as much as I can. We also learn like there is in if and else condition, one equal is not enough. We have to use two equals for that. So that's one of the main idea behind this playlist, and I want you to think together with me, and you can watch it and you can like start your thought process. Like that's my main idea behind that is like not teaching the language, but I wanted to teach, like obviously I'm going to use Python for this whole playlist, but I wanted to learn along with me, just not the Python, but the way we think, the way we Google the things in the internet, and how we reach to the point. Now on the second video, what we're gonna do is like maybe we're gonna make this calculator more optimized. We're gonna find out how we can make it more bug free, because like for now the program is like kind of buggy, because for example if the user enter anything other than plus minus or like all apart from these operator, it's just not gonna do anything. So for example, if I'm gonna say 10, 20, and then if I'm gonna enter say this, it just did nothing because there is no case for this. We just have this one, right? So that's one of the thing that we're gonna learn next. And how we can improve that, how we can use, how we can make our program bug free. But this playlist is like not the other playlist of all the people who are teaching particularly Python or particular Java or some particular language. But I'm here to think. I want to teach you how to think about a program, how we can write a logic, and how we can basically write a good program from basics, and how we can use internet, one of the super powerful tool for our own benefit, right? Thank you. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. If you have any question, please feel free to comment down, and we'll see. I will try to reply as soon as possible. Thank you.